What's good? It's your boy Damien here. Welcome to my channel where I talk about personal finance, self-improvement, trying to be a well-rounded person like a sphere. And today we're going to be talking about the fact that you can change the course, but don't change the outcome of what you're going for, okay? This is a thing that people struggle with a lot, or at least I think they do. I don't know, I don't have data and science to back it up. But let's just say it is backed up by said things. But people struggle with this a lot. They'd be like, this is my goal, but I'm having a hard time doing this and that. So like, try to switch the goal. I mean, if it's a goal that you really care about and like you do anything for it, because people say I do anything for a lot of things, which we know is cap. But if it's like a really big important thing that you want to achieve in life, you're gonna give up just because of a little heartache, not heartache, just difficulties in between that goal. Like it doesn't make any sense. You can just change the way you want to go about getting to said goal. Like for example, if you're a university student, your main goal is to get that degree. I mean, for that most part, it matters how you get to it. But if you just want a degree in general, just because a lot of degrees don't even matter anymore. But just having that, MD at the end of your name, I think that's what it is. Sure, I don't remember what it is, but having those letters at the end of your name is just kind of a flex. So, you don't need a specific set of things, like in a specific way to get to that goal. Like you can switch a degree, people switch the degrees all the time, switch it once, twice, even 3 times. But as long as you still get to that end goal of the nice little plaque thing, the letters at the end of your name, and you're Gucci, you're fine. Like I ain't even gonna lie, when I've been making these videos, it's basically for me too, to like remind myself of these things, because recently I got slapped across the face with this, well not literally, but with this realization that I'm like, oh, okay, remember that the goal is still the same, the way you get to it might be completely different. Because last week or so, I think it was, I was with my dad, talking about properties, because if you remember it was a while ago now, I think, my video when I was talking about how I was going to be a millionaire by a young age, like 25 or something like that. I mean, it'll be in the cards, but millionaire by whatever age, and I was going to use investment properties to get that $1 million net worth, because different types of millionaires and whatnot. But I was just I had this whole thing planned out, I was like, I'll get this property at 5% down, and then we take the money out, refinance, and do this and that. But it doesn't work like that. Okay, so to be fair, I did say that is in a perfect world, and that it's probably not gonna work like that. So I kind of knew, like, I was reaching for the moon there, but that's just what we do. That's just what we do. Well, back to the story with my dad. I was talking to him about investment properties and whatnot, because I was mowing my parents' lawn. It's a thing that I'm trying to do. Don't ask me about it. But so after that, I was like talking to him and like passing. I was like, yo, I'm about to dip, but like, where are your properties in the city about? And then long story short, we ended up taking a tour of, I think, he has like 5 properties, but then we went to like 7 or 8 because like past properties he's had to show me like the progression, I guess. And oh my days, like seeing the properties wasn't really what took me for a loop. It's more like the numbers afterwards. Like seeing the properties was whatever. We can't really go inside because tenants and all that stuff. So we're just seeing like where in the city it was around abouts. They're kind of like spread out. So our premium gas was hurting, but it's fine. So like for the numbers, I knew most things. I was like, yeah, you gotta pay like property taxes. I didn't know how much they were at the first, but I was like, God damn, that's kind of a lot. I'm not gonna lie. Property taxes, home insurance, like, all this other stuff. And I was like, okay, yeah, that kind of makes sense. That's what I talked about with like renting versus buying, because there's like all these hidden fees and stuff that you never get back. So like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. And then we were talking about the down payments that he put on the houses and such. And then that reminded me of how I was like, yeah, I'll just like put 5% down on every house, just moving it around and all that stuff. But he was like, no, you actually have to live in every house for a year if you're gonna be you have to be moving every year, living in every single house if you want to put a 5% down payment. And I was like, bro, so what you're telling me is that it is not gonna happen that we either one get a property within this year, and then two get 3 properties within 1 year, like, or 1 year and a half that I really wanted. It's like plan it's just gone at that point. It's just completely gone. Not to mention it ruins my original plan of wanting to move to Toronto in like the near future, because I mean, if we were to do 5 properties, like that's 5 years of staying in Winnipeg, even longer. And then on top of that, for me to be living in the houses, I want it to be like a specific style, quality, aesthetic, you know, something that I'd live in, modern vibes. But to be able to do that, it would still be quite an expensive down payment, because the house price would still be way up there. Well, way up there, and I'm not talking $1 million houses or anything. And then on top of that, when we have a house that's in like the suburb area, or like where I'd most likely be living, the cash flow is just not there whatsoever. Basically, the higher price of the house, the lower cash flow you get. And that is just way counterproductive to what I want. We're trying to get cash flow now. I mean, we'll still be building equity and such, but God, I was cheesed, to say the least. We're not even gonna mention the whole part of the refinancing that is just more complicated than I can repeat, but it doesn't really work the way I thought it would work. So you can see that whole real estate plan to get to a millionaire by a young age of 25, it's still possible. Because that is the whole point. The goal is still the same, but we just gotta figure out how we get to it in a different process. We could still do it with buying houses and whatnot, but you see, we just got to make more money so we can put a bigger down payment down, or we just save a whole bunch more so we can put a bigger down payment. But really the whole goal is to make more money anyway. So the goal, I mean, the plans are still kind of the same, but switched a little bit, and then with a little bit of sprinkle of extra dough on top. But you could see how the original plan is like completely sewered, right? Like, it makes little to no sense, especially with the having to live in each house to be able to put that 5% down. It's possible, but it's not the way. Like, I'm sure people that actually knew real estate and all that stuff, if they ever watched the video, they'd be like, this kid, he's a big dummy. Like, he's about to get a rude awakening. And I mean, I kind of did, not really. Thank goodness my dad is actually into real estate and has all these investments, because I would have been even more sad if I found this out later, after thinking, oh, we're so close, and then no, you're not close at all. But even with the plan being blown out of the complete water, just freaking torpedoed out, huge waves and all this stuff, the goal is still the same. So apply that thinking to everywhere else in life. Like, for example, if you're like trying to get to a certain status or financial level in life, and you're working this job to get you there, and you're like, I don't think this is gonna, like, I don't think I'm gonna get there. Instead of being like, yeah, I quit, I'm just gonna live like this regular life that everyone be living and whatnot, just be vibing. I mean, if you want that, that's cool. But if you don't just be like, well, I'm gonna default to that. Or you could just, switch career paths. That's a thing. It might be scary, but the goal is still the same. You gotta get to it whichever way you can. I mean, as long as it's legal, semi-legal, as long as it's legal and you're not hurting anyone else, just switch the path and you still get to the goal. I mean, you should still get to the goal if you really want it that badly. But that is it for today's video. I hope you liked it. Yeah, there we go. And if you did, if you could like, comment, and even subscribe if you loved it. Well, until the next video, we're signing out.